if we chose to go be as reckless as them, and we get to a point where the CIA is like, look, what do you guys want to do? We keep going like this. Look what they're doing. They're getting involved. They have control over us. I'm not playing by the rules. You guys can't bully me. I'm going to come in. I'm going to own a bunch of your Congress folks. I'm going to give them a bunch of money. I'm going to use different NGOs, charities, APAC, whatever you want to call it. Trust me, I'm going to get that control over a lot of your guys here. And because I can do that. I'm not doing anything illegal. Everything I'm going by the books. Yeah, maybe I'll use some of the methods that's going to be a little bit crazy. And for us, we're trying to be very much amicable and very much, you know, following by the rules, and let's report everything the proper way. It's a chaotic situation on how you manage that specific relationship with another intel agency that can break the rules and do whatever they want to do.
And the thing is, you're not trying to manage the relationship. In reality, what you're trying to do is leverage the relationship for your own benefit. That's the real reason intelligence...
Is that what we do?
That's why intelligence agencies cooperate. The problem is then it becomes a game of which intelligence officers are more skilled, can move fastest, and can make the bigger promise. And that's where we start to shoot ourselves in the foot again. United States sits at the table in a joint intelligence subcommittee with the Mexicans, which is happening right now to fight cartels, right? In a situation like that, we bring the bigger budget, we bring the bigger weapons, we bring the better recon infrastructure. Mm-hmm. The Mexicans are going to listen to us. They're going to do what we want them to do, and we're going to get lots of access into their agencies. That's a good thing. That's a win. But flip the ticket. Somebody that doesn't have the same need as a Mexican, you know, law enforcement agency, and all of a sudden the rules change, the leverage changes.
Yeah, but like what I'm thinking about with this is, so if they don't have the rules, they get the intel from us. Like my kids, my daughter will come and say, "My daddy, Senna hit me. Senna hit me," and that's her intel. Okay, then I go in there, and then my son will say, "No, she didn't hit her. Brooklyn scratched her back, and then Senna reacted, but Brooklyn started it." And then she'll go like this and give me a look. I'm like, "Did you do that?" And I'm like, "2 witnesses that I believe," right? So then the question becomes, what if we rely on them for intel, but they come and give us whatever intel that they want us to know, but not the full intel, that makes us overreact, but we have to trust the intel because we can't go to another person that was a witness to say, "Nah, that's not really the full story. This is the real full story." How do you inspect the intel that's being given to you that doesn't have another person holding them accountable?
And you're right on the money with the question. We have a process that we have called the corroboration of intelligence. Corroboration of intelligence. So when an intel report comes in, that is a single-sourced intel report. We're looking for corroborating intelligence, a second intel report that says the same thing or nearly the same thing as the first intelligence report, but from a completely separate source. When you have corroboration, that's the 2 witnesses that you trust. That also lets you know if the first source or the second source is being honest, because if you have information that's not corroborating and they both say they're telling the truth, you have reason to doubt them both. That is a big part of why we have 36 intelligence agencies, because Air Force is giving us intel, Navy is giving us intel, NGA is giving us or NSA is giving us intel, NRO is giving us intel, CIA and NSA are giving us intel. So even between the agencies, we're hoping to find corroboration that allows us to validate foreign sources.
That's actually not what I'm asking. I'm asking if we're dealing with, for example, if we're trying to get intel, how many CIA agents do we have in Iran right now?
That's
not many.
Exactly.
Who do we have? We have Mossad agents in Iran.
Correct.
We can't go in there. Right? We did a skit a couple of weeks ago, not a skit. We're in the middle of the podcast. I'm like, what if we send 200 African-American agents to Iran to act like they're Iranian? You know, Tyrone Johnson, right? Tyrone Johnson, but they're African-American. I don't care if you speak or anything. They know you're not from Iran. They know it's weird for you to be here, right? So who do we rely on to get intel on what's going on with the scientists that are working on nuclear weapons or where Khamenei is in Iran? We have to rely on somebody else's intel to give to us. And whose intel are we going to rely on? Iraq, Saudi, or Mossad? So what I'm saying is if Mossad has whatever the numbers we've read about, low 700, high 2,000, and Iran just kicked out, I think, 550 of them, or they arrested them, something happened to them. Rob, if you want to verify what I'm saying here, how do we know when Mossad's given us intel, we don't have representatives there to check to see if they're telling us the truth or not? Do we just risk believing them?
So the short answer is yes. The short answer is when you don't have intelligence superiority, when you don't have information superiority, you have to start to take risks on the people that you think do have information superiority. Now, there are certain benefits here. Saudi Arabia and Israel both have a threat from Iran. So we would anticipate that both of them would be actively collecting against Iran. However, neither of them fully trust the United States. So we're going to be getting groomed intelligence from both of them, meaning it's going to be shaped for what they want us to know. But it's still an opportunity for us to see if one or the other is saying the same thing or something different. Plus, don't forget about all of our intelligence assets that are not human, right? SIGINT collection, satellite connection, open source collection. There's lots of other collection efforts besides just human beings on the ground that we can use to collect intelligence. So we're now trying to find whether or not the SIGINT corroborates the Saudi report.
Tell me about the SIGINT. Tell me about all the three.
So what I'm talking about are human sources coming from 2 allied countries, and then a third signals intelligence that's coming from NSA. Because NSA collects signals worldwide.
Everywhere. Okay. So you don't have to be there to get that. And then you said, what was the other 2? SIGINT and then?
So there's SIGINT, there's open source information. Those are all the analysts that can pull things in foreign languages, in English language, academic sources, et cetera, and then start to cross-reference to see what intelligence you can derive from open source information.
Okay, but if we're getting it from Mossad and we're not there, just a question for you. Human Rights reported that 530 people across Iran that were violating espionage, Israeli Mossad. So this was June 13, 2025, 530 that they found that they were going through, and they detained a bunch of these guys. But if Mossad gives us the intel, how many CIA agents does America currently physical have in Iran right now?
I don't know the answer. If I knew the answer, it would be classified. But I will say that my assessment, less than what fit on 2 hands.
Damn.
Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, your sophisticated or rather your most rogue nations have been systematically kicking Americans out, hunting down anybody who even looks like an asset, and then publicly punishing these people to further instigate and protect themselves against people turning against their country for a long time. Now you'll see, and I mean, it's fantastic if you do a quick search, you'll see the kind of commercials that CIA,
China, Russia,
and MI6 are putting out there to try to get people to volunteer. The reason those things don't work very well is because your next door neighbor just got arrested because they think he's an American spy. And then you on the internet see a CIA commercial says, hey, become an American spy. And you're like, fuck no. I just saw what happened to my neighbor. I can hate the regime all day long without talking to you.
What do we, like, let's just say it's Russia or Iran, and somebody reaches out, right? And China, somebody reaches out. What do we give in return for them to give intel?
So you're talking about
so the Russia ad, right? The Russia ad that you have, and it tells the story. It's very emotional, by the way. Remember back in the days when your father and he went through this, and now you have this. Do it for your country, like these China ads, these Russia ads that they do. Okay, so I want to give intel. What is that Iranian, that Russian, that Chinese person that's sick of their own country? What do they get in return?
This is a lot like our conversation about why would an American support CIA. A huge chunk of their motivation is that they believe they're doing the right thing. They'll take the risk believing they're doing the right thing. Now, America never wants that. You always want to have leverage. So we try to find a leverage point. Is that leverage point money? Is that leverage point, medicine? Is that leverage point a visa to get your family out of the country? We look at all of those options, but we have to give something right away. One of the reasons I really don't like Bitcoin is because Bitcoin has become the currency of choice for espionage around the world. If you're a North Korean trying to recruit an American scientists, you're going to pay them in Bitcoin. Well, if you're a Chinese person trying to report to American intelligence, you're probably also getting paid in Bitcoin.
In a way, I know this is not the answer you're probably expecting to hear from me. In a way, that's good, because there is a way to give something that if you do this and it's real, we can send half a Bitcoin, or we can send a Bitcoin over to you, and it's decentralized, so it can't be fully tracked of where it's coming from.
Correct.
So part of that is good, but the other part of it is, when you were in the CIA, and you don't need to give this answer, I'm just trying to see if you knew it. Would you guys all know how many actual officers were in any country at any given time? Did you guys know that?
Only for the short answer is yes, for the area of responsibility we were working in. The longer answer is there are different categories of officers. Some of them are outside of our need to know. So I would know how many officers of my caliber were there, but then there might be some of a deeper cover that I wouldn't know at all, and there might be some that were barely covered that I also wouldn't know at all.
So above your rank, you wouldn't know if they're there or not.
Correct.
Okay. So at the peak ever, if you were to guesstimate, what's the most officers that we had in Iran actually working, what would that be?
I mean, the peak would have probably been under the Shah and 60-ish.
Still 60, still not a big number.
Not a big number of American officers.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they would be running networks of locals.
So, okay, so if they're there, would they be white guys? Would they be regular guys that look like...
They could be. They would be basically whatever the United States was hiring at CIA, which was predominantly Caucasian back then, but there could have been women, there could have been blacks, there could have been Asians that were also recruited by CIA at the time.
So it's not like they're going and finding American, Iranian, Iraqi, whatever, to be able to leverage them to send them there.
Correct. If anything, they're trying to avoid that because of the instant suspicion.
So what is the population right now of Americans living in Iran today? Do we know that number, Rob? Can you pull up?
That's a good question.
What is the population of Caucasian Americans living in Iran today? White Americans living in Iran today. You can put Caucasian, let's see what it says. Living in Iran today. Because if I'm Iran, even if I see one person, it appears there's no publicly available reliable sources. Although exact numbers are not published, past estimates suggest that thousands of U.S. citizens, including expats, dual national students, and business professionals reside or stay in Iran, often intermittently. In mid-2025, during the rising tension, State Department issued this. I remember this one, the whole 20. This is recent. That just happened. 25,000 people. This is right before they attacked the nuclear facility. They say you got to get out of there.
Yep.
But what I'm trying to say is, okay, even if one white guy lives in Iran, why are you here? So if I'm Iran and I'm overly paranoid consistently, and we were like, you're either CIA, you're either somebody that's trying to give intel to another, get him out of here, right? Or arrest him, find a way to get... So that's not going to work effectively. So we have to rely... What other intel do we rely on as much as Mossad to get intel from Iran?
So I don't want to think of it as a country. I want to think of it as a rogue nation. A rogue nation means a nation that basically prevents the transience of American citizens, like Iran, like North Korea. These are countries where you can't get in. If you have an American passport, good luck getting in. And if you do get in, good luck not going to jail right away. So rogue nations, you primarily rely on third country intelligence, like we're talking about with Mossad. You primarily rely on signals intelligence, which you would get from NSA. You primarily rely on military intelligence, which you would get from the intelligence services of your 4 branches or 5 branches of military with the Space Force. And those branches of the military are getting a lot of their information from other third-party groups. They're getting it from the UN. They're getting it from military channels. Submarines collect secrets. Airplanes collect secrets. So you've got this conglomerate at all times that are always collecting. But you're primarily relying on signals that you can absorb and intercept, and your human intelligence is coming from a third party.
But aside from Mossad, do we have another intel that we trust that would be in Iran to get intel for us, or no? It would mainly be Mossad.
So the 25,000 people, if you scroll back up again, this is an important 2 words that often get overlooked. You see the dual nationals?
Yes.
There are only a handful of countries that allow you to have dual citizenship with the United States. Those countries would allow you to have both an American passport and a foreign passport. So you could travel into Iran on the foreign passport, and essentially the border agents would never know you're an American citizen.
Who are the 5 countries?
There's only a handful. Costa Rica allows you to have dual citizenship. Spain allows you to have dual citizenship. I believe Canada might let you have dual citizenship. Rob, can you look that up? Thank you. What countries allow Americans to have dual citizenship?
Israel is one of them.
There you go. Canada, Mexico, many in Latin America. Oh, these require that you scroll that up again one more time. These nations do not require that you announce your citizenship. So these are all dual national countries for the United States.
Okay, and then if you go lower, Rob, where is Israel on that list? Because a lot of the criticism that a lot of there it is, long-term grants, go a little bit lower, Rob. Countries that allow it only in limited circumstances: Japan, Singapore. Countries that generally do not allow dual citizenship. Let's see this list real quick. China, India, Saudi, UAE, Qatar, Indonesia, Malaysia. Where is Iran on this list, by the way? Did you see anywhere Iran above?
I think Iran allows dual citizenship, actually. There it is. So scroll up to section 1, sir. No, I don't see it under Asia Pacific. I didn't see it under Middle East either. So this is not all encompassing. There's 160 something countries. So this is not every country.
Iran does not formally recognize dual citizenship. Under Iranian law, anyone who is considered an Iran citizen is treated solely as an Iranian citizen while in Iran, even if they hold another passport. Dual citizenship isn't legally acknowledged. Iran will not provide consular access to dual nationals from their country while in Iran. If you are an Iranian citizen under Iranian law by birth, Iran assumes you are 100% Iranian in legal matters. Nowadays, more than ever, the brand you wear reflects and represents who you are. So for us, if you wear a Future Looks Bright hat or a Valuetainment gear, you're telling the world, I'm optimistic, I'm excited about what's going to be happening, but you're a free thinker, you question things, you like debate. And by the way, last year, 120,000 people got a piece of Future Looks Bright gear with Valuetainment. We have so many new things. The cufflinks are here. New Future Looks Bright. This is my favorite, the green one. Just yesterday, somebody placed an order for 100 of these. If you watch the PBD podcast, you got a bunch to choose from. White ones, black ones. If you smoke cigars and you come to our cigar lounge, we have this high quality lighter cutter and a holder for the cigars. We got sweaters with the Valuetainment logo on it. We got mugs. We got a bunch of different things. But if you believe the future looks bright, if you follow our content and what we represent with Valuetainment, with PBD Podcast, go to vtmerch.com. And by the way, if you order right now, there's going to be a special VT gift inside just for you. So again, go to vtmerch.com, place your order, tell the world that you believe the future looks bright. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.